Welcome back, everyone. You may be one of the fortunate owners to pick up a brand new M1 iPad Pro. And just in case this is your first iPad, I'll go ahead and break down essentially everything you need to know about this specific iPad Pro. Now, starting off the outside, of course, we have this beautiful display, either 11-inch or 12.9-inch, depending on the iPad that you have. Capable of 120 hertz, all this cool stuff we'll get into in a second. You will have Face ID on the front. So right up here is our camera sensor, which is Face ID equipped. So you can go ahead and unlock your iPad, whether you're holding it whichever way. You can go ahead and unlock your iPad without using the passcode straight from Face ID right up here, which is really awesome. Now at the very top of our iPad, we do have our power button right here. And we do have a speaker grill up here too, actually two speakers, so you can see one right up here and one right up here, which is really awesome. And on the side right up here, we have our volume buttons. And on the bottom right here, we have our USB Type-C port, as well as a speaker grill and another speaker grill right here. Now on the back, we do have another accessory port right here that we can connect, our MagSafe keyboard if we want to, and all that good stuff. And we also have a camera setup right here. Dual camera setup, a wide and ultra-wide sensor with a LiDAR, camera, flash, microphone, all that stuff. We know the deal here. You have another antenna up here, and that's essentially it on the outside. A very premium feeling iPad. These M1 iPad Pros feel extremely good in the hand. Now let's go ahead and boot this thing open. Now I'm sure if you're at this point, you've probably already gone through the setup, so that's probably already taken care of, but you can usually set it up yourself. It's a very easy setup process. Now specifically turning it on, we want to turn it off. We want to turn it on and off by clicking this power button on the left side. So just in case it's your first time ever using an iPad, you're always going to click the specific power button that's either on the top or on the left side of your iPad. Essentially, it's the only button that's on the one side. So if you want to turn off your M1 iPad Pro, you will go ahead and hold the volume up button and the power button at the same time until you get into this power off option. So if you want to power it off, you're going to have to hold the power button and the volume up button at the same time in order to fully turn it off. Now, if you want to power it on, you just have to hold the power button. So you just have to hold the power button right here. You'll get into the Apple logo, which should come up any second. And a really cool thing about these M1 iPad Pros is that they actually boot up in landscape for the Apple logo, which is really awesome. I really haven't seen that before on any other iPad. Usually it's the other way. So I think that's a really awesome thing. And these iPads are fast, and they're going to boot up surely super fast, as you can see. Now on the lock screen, there's usually a couple things, but we don't have any toggles set up. You can typically swipe to the right to get straight into the camera if you want to. You can also swipe to the left if you want to get into the widgets. As you can see, you have a couple of different options here. But now we can just swipe up and get into our home page. So this is the home page. Anytime you want to go anywhere, this is essentially the starting point. You have your apps on the front, so this is really, really awesome. Now to swipe around, you obviously swipe to the side. I think some of you may know this. You can also access the widgets by swiping to the left. Some widgets still kind of need a little bit of work, but for the most part, they still work perfectly fine. Now, the main thing to go ahead and maneuver through with your iPad is the gesture-based design. So essentially, if you go ahead and you want to go into something, let's say the App Store, you'll click on the App Store, but you see it takes up the whole entire page. So in order for you to actually maneuver this, you'll have to swipe up in order to actually get out of it. There's no home button anymore. So you have to basically go into the app, and essentially if you see this bar down here, you want to just grab this bar and swipe up. But you can see that I did just get into another option where it brought up the dock. We'll get into that in a second. But the best thing I like to do is swipe up from the side right here and just swipe up all the way. That way I don't accidentally tap any apps or really anything like that. Now you can also get into the multitasking panel by swiping up and stopping about halfway. So about the time where you can see about 2 apps, you'll want to let go, and you'll basically get into the multitasking panel. So this will allow you to select another app. So let's say you wanted to go into settings, well, you can click here instead of swiping up and then finding settings. Well, if you've already opened up settings before, swipe up, stop right there, and get here. Now let's say you're in the settings and you want to go back to the app you were just at. Well, you can grab the little gesture bar right here, swipe to the side, and you can get to the other app. Let's say you want to get into either app before, well, you go and swipe to the side and get there. And you can keep going back and forth just like so, swipe between all the apps that you have, and that's essentially it. I mean, this is essentially a walkthrough of the gesture. It's a very easy thing for sure. Now let's go ahead and hop into our settings, because this is where a majority of the important things that we're going to be seeing are. Now starting up at the top, this is our iCloud setting. So if you ever want to tamper with anything with your iCloud settings, you want to go ahead and click here. On top of this, the main things you're probably going to mess with are Wi-Fi. So you want to go ahead and configure your Wi-Fi connection, make sure it's set. Bluetooth is right here. Notifications, all this stuff is usually set. Another important thing I want to show you though for your iPad is within the general settings. So within general, if we click here, there's usually going to be an update available for your iPad probably. So the one of the more common places you're going to go is click general right here and then click software update. And if you see an update here, like how I see it right here, you want to go ahead and download this specific update. If there's any time you want to go ahead and if you have issues with your iPad, this is the first place I would recommend checking. If there's an update out for your iPad, this will probably end up fixing those issues. So you want to jot this down, you want to remember this because this is the one area you're probably going to go to the most. Now on top of that, everything else is essentially the same because we can, mostly modify these within our control center. Now you may be asking yourself, well, what is the control center? Well, if we look at the top right, you'll see the time right here. But if you look closely, you may be able to see that you can actually drag this down. Now, there's no drag down toggle here, but sometimes if we're actually in the lock screen, you can go ahead and click here. You'll see the little line that's underneath it. So you can actually swipe down from here and access a little bit more information. Now let me go ahead and come back into the home screen and show you exactly what these are. So right here we have the Bluetooth toggle, Wi-Fi toggle, and AirDrop. So if you ever want to turn anything off, you can just click on it like so, and it'll go ahead and toggle it off. Now the first time you do it, it may have a pop-up, but if you want to turn on or off your Bluetooth Wi-Fi settings, you can click there. This is a music toggle. This is auto rotate, so if you only want to keep it on one way, horizontal or landscape, you have that option. Do not disturb. You also have a brightness toggle, so if you want to increase or decrease the brightness, you can go and do it here rather than going into the settings. You have your sound toggle right here, so if you want to increase or decrease the sound, you can click there. And you have your control center toggles down here as well. Now you can actually go ahead and add or delete toggles by going back into our settings. So it's going to click on our settings toggle right here. You want to go ahead and find the little option that says control center. So right here it says control center, let's click there. And here you can go ahead and add any more toggles that you want to add, which is so awesome. So if you want to add a toggle that says, home, we can go and click that little plus button at the home, and it'll go ahead and add that toggle right here. So you can see we have that home toggle. And you can do this with all of these. I'm not going to go through every single one, but that is essentially how you go ahead and do those. Now there's another really cool thing within, our settings app, which is a really cool feature within one of the more recent versions of iOS and iPadOS. And this one is dark mode. So if you want to get dark mode on your M1 iPad Pro, all you have to do is go ahead and click on display and brightness within your settings app. So we're already in settings. Then what you want to do is on the top, you'll see light or dark mode. All you'll have to do is go ahead and click on the dark mode right here, and you will see that everything is tinted dark. A really cool thing is if you're using a stock iOS wallpaper, the wallpaper will also switch over to a dark mode, and everything else within your specific app will be dark mode as well, which is really cool. If you want to turn this off, all you have to do is click light back into your settings, and you will see that everything is turned back into light mode. If I go into my wallpaper, if it's a stock iOS wallpaper, it'll turn light. If you go into App Store right here, you can see this one is light as well. So that's another really awesome feature. Now, another basic thing you're probably going to be doing on your iPad is modifying apps, specifically removing apps, deleting apps, all that stuff. Now, let's say, I have some apps right here. Let's say I don't want this specific app, BOFA, or I want to move it around. Well, all you'll need to do is hold it down just like so. You'll get into a panel that looks like this. Now, all you want to do is understand whether you want to delete the app, share the app, or edit home screen. Well, if you want to delete the app, you don't want it on your iPad anymore, you want to click delete app, and then you want to go ahead and click delete one more time, and it'll go ahead and remove this and free up storage on your specific iPad. Now, let's say you don't want to delete it, you just want to go ahead and edit home screen and move it around. Well, you want to go ahead and click edit home screen. You'll come into this specific panel, and now you can go ahead and hold down your specific app and drag it around wherever you want to. So let's say you want to go and bring it to your front screen. Well, you can bring it here. Now, sometimes if you drag it onto another app, you can see it doesn't work properly. So what you'll have to do is go and click here, click edit home screen, swipe to the side, and drop it in again into an empty area, just like how I have it. Now, let's say, I don't want it here. Well, go ahead and drag it down and bring it to wherever else you want to. And that's essentially how you go ahead and move some apps here and there. It's a very, very easy process. And that's essentially a little breakdown of moving apps and all that good stuff. Now there's a cool little other thing on your iPad. Let's say you want to look for an app or some other document on your specific device, and let's say you don't know where it's at. Let's say you were trying to search for Quizlet, but you don't know where the Quizlet app is at and you've tried everything and you can't find it. Well, all you'll have to do is swipe down from this top and you will get into a little spotlight search. Now, if you have a MacBook, it's essentially the same thing. But what you want to do is go ahead and search up things like whatever you're looking for. Now, it gives you a breakdown of exactly what you can do. So you can search on the web, your contacts, nearby locations, and you can see personalized suggestions for things that say you text on your iPad or whatever. We'll go ahead and recommend you certain things. So let's say I go ahead and type in Quizlet. So I type in Quiz. Before I even finished, it already recommended me my Quizlet app. So you can go ahead and open up your app in this way and essentially see it. Now that's essentially a little breakdown of our little iPad on this panel. Now another thing you're probably going to be doing all the time is installing apps, updating apps, all that stuff. So what we want to do is make our way over to our app store. Our app store is this little panel. This is really the only way we can install and update apps on our specific device. So we want to click on the app store. And let's say we want to install an app like Snapchat, for example. Well, we want to click on the search panel right here. It may change, but you just want to click on search. You then want to click on search up here, and you just want to find the specific app. So we're going to go ahead and type in Snapchat, just like so. We want to click go. And what's going to happen is we're going to be able to find the app just like so. We want to click on Snapchat, and we want to go ahead and click on the either install button or the little cloud download button, depending on which specific version you're coming from. Now it's going to go ahead and install the app this way. But let's say we want to go ahead and update an app. What we want to do there is we want to go ahead and make our way over to our Today page right here. We want to go ahead and click on our little personal page right here. You may see your icon. You then want to click on Purchased, and you just want to click on My Purchases, and you want to see if there's an update available for your specific apps. Now that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is click here. Now another way to do it is click Search and search for the app that you want to update, and you can go ahead and update the app that way as well. Now the last couple things I'm going to show you is how to screenshot on your specific M1 iPad Pro. Now in order to do this, what you want to do is you want to locate the top power button like we mentioned before, the only button that's on the one side, and the two volume buttons that are on the other side. Now you only want to click the power button and the volume up button at the same time in order to screenshot. So you can see I'm going to click these one time, and you can see I screenshotted it. You'll get into this little power button, whatever this is, the little toggle on the bottom, and that's essentially how you screenshot. Now we're going to swipe to the side. Now you might be wondering, well, where does the screenshot go? Again, screenshotting, power button, volume up button. That's how you screenshot on the M1 iPad Pro. Well, this photo is located in our Photos app. So we can go and click on the Photos app right there. We can then go ahead and click on either screenshots. There's also some other places we can go. But in this case, you can see we just took the screenshot and put right here. So this is the screenshot that we just had. And now we can go ahead and edit this by clicking Edit up here. And we can go ahead and draw on it. We can go ahead and change the filters on the side. We can draw on it and all that stuff, which I'll let you guys kind of play with. But instead, let's say we want to share it out to somebody. Well, what we want to do is once we click that cancel button, we want to click on the share button right here. And we want to share this out. We can either share it via AirDrop, iMessage. There's a ton of places we can go ahead and share it out to. But that's essentially how you screenshot an image. Now let's say we want to go ahead and screen record on our iPad. Well, all we need to do here is we want to go back into our settings. So we'll come into this panel. We then want to go into our control center. So if you remember the control center right here, then what we want to do is scroll down until we see a little screen recording toggle. Now in this specific case, I already added it, but I'll go ahead and delete it. Now when I delete it, it'll basically come back down here. So you can see the screen recording toggle right here. All you want to do is go and click plus there, and you'll see it here. But also if you swipe down in the top right, like I mentioned, you basically grab the time, bring it down, you'll see the little screen recording toggle there. Well, all you want to do is go and click on it, and you can essentially start screen recording your device. So as you can see, it started screen recording. Now, whatever I'm doing here, whenever you see this little red line up there, that essentially means it's being screen recorded. So now you can go ahead and swipe through and do whatever you wanted to screen record. Whenever you're ready and you're done, you want to stop screen recording, you want to go and click up there and click stop. Now what's going to happen is this specific screen recording is going to be saved in our little photos gallery. So in order to check this out, you want to click on photos up here. You then want to go ahead and get out of here, and you can find the little screen recording toggle, which is right here. And all you want to do is go and find that little video, and you can see that you now have that little screen recording video right here. So all you need to do now is go ahead and share this out. So you can, by clicking the share button or whatever, you can also edit this video if you want to on your iPad and all that good stuff. But that's essentially the main stuff on your iPad. It's a kind of a long video, but this is a very brief walkthrough of the very basics of your iPad. There's a lot of cool little features. There's a lot here. So I'd highly recommend you guys to go ahead, if you need to, rewatch this video, look into it a little bit further. But by now you should have a decent understanding of your specific M1 iPad. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.